Coming up on Citrus TV News, a possible break-in at SUNY ESF leaves a beloved display damaged. Citrus TV speaks with the school's police chief. What he says may have been the cause.
And the latest from the city of Syracuse as it teams up with Microsoft for 5G tech. Our Oscar Offerman reports.
And the officer involved in a Fort Worth shooting resigns. The latest details from authorities there as we come on the air. Citrus TV News starts right now.
Know that there's going to be streetlight data.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
As the city of Syracuse celebrates Columbus Day, Syracuse University is recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day. Good evening. I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Carmella Boykin. The university began honoring the day in 2016. This year's theme is 150 Years of Impact. The Native Students Program, Indigenous Students at Syracuse, and the Office of Multicultural Affairs organized a 4-hour event on the quad, a celebratory and educational event aimed to teach the community about local Indigenous cultures and issues.
And new tonight, officials are charging 3 minors after a robbery that happened a short distance from the SU campus yesterday. They say the suspects robbed a woman at gunpoint. Police say a woman was taking pictures around the university and was approached by the suspects who allegedly stole her belongings, including a cell phone and an iPad. An officer ran after those suspects on foot, who we are now learning are 2 teenagers and a 12-year-old. Each suspect was charged with first-degree robbery.
Also new tonight, authorities are investigating a possible vandalism at SUNY ESF. The taxidermied ox displayed at the school's Gateway Center was found smashed with broken glass, though the scene has since been cleaned up. The school's police chief, Thomas Leroy, tells Citrus TV the building was secure, but the issue could have been a faulty door. Leroy added the school is currently tracking leads.
The iSchool recently announced a partnership with the city of Syracuse and Microsoft for future projects in the city. Citrus TV reporter Oscar Offerman is live outside the iSchool to break it all down. Oscar?
Now, the 3 partners, the city of Syracuse, the iSchool, and Microsoft, recently met at Microsoft's headquarters in Redmond, Washington, to go over various projects that the 3 partners could collaborate on. Now, while Microsoft's cloud-based software has been in use in the iSchool for some time now, this marks the first time that the company is partnering with the city and the iSchool to focus on city-based projects. As part of the city of Syracuse's Syracuse Surge initiative, which is a $200 million investment by the city into its infrastructure, the iSchool will partner with Microsoft and the city on future data and community-based projects in areas including education, public safety, and economic development.
We know that there's going to be streetlight data, for example, on the use of electricity and some of the traffic patterns around the streetlights.
Students will connect to projects in Syracuse Surge through the iConsult Collaborative, which was started as an iSchool exclusive student worker program in 2008 before being expanded university-wide last year.
So we are getting more and more projects that involve the skills that not only belong from iSchool, but the skills those are needed from other schools as well.
The iSchool has worked with the city of Syracuse on projects in the past, but this is the first time that Microsoft will be directly involved.
It was already in use at the university. It was not as much used within the city, and so part of what the question was how do we get the university and the city the best able to collaborate in terms of the data sharing that was involved.
As that last part was Associate Dean Thomas talking about the continued use of Microsoft's cloud-based software here on a campus level. That product is going to be rolled out citywide as part of this project. And while Associate Dean Thomas couldn't mention any specific projects with an on-the-books timetable, he did talk about the possibility of an app being unveiled citywide that will allow city residents to report on events going on around the city, much like the Wildfire app does for some students here on campus. Jack and Carmella, back to you in studio.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it. Oscar Offerman outside the iSchool. Thank you, Oscar.
New details today. You've probably noticed those cranes up in the air above the dome. They've been there for quite some time now, and today we got a dome construction update from Syracuse University Chief Facilities Officer Pete Sala. He says the construction is going according to schedule and that the newest part of the project will be the crown truss. He says work on the interior won't begin until next year. Sala spoke about how stressful the construction process can be.
Some of those pieces of steel are 80, 90 feet long, right? So we've got the logistics of getting steel to the site and then getting it to where the crane can pick it up. Of course, it's exciting. You know, it's part of we're changing the landscape of you know, of the city for years to come with this new plan for us.
And those
Sala added the contractor making the renovations has built-in plans to account for winter on the horizon. Sala says the new roof of the dome will be built to last the brutal winters, so no one has to go up to the top for snow removal.
And staying on campus now, nearly 1,000 prospective students visited SU today as part of Orange Preview Day. Starting at 8 a.m. this morning, students toured campus and learned about each college. New House Director of Diversity and Recruitment Wesley Whiteside says today was especially busy because of the federal holidays. Today was the first of 4 Orange Preview Days this semester. The next day is on November 8th. And now, not really that bad of a day to go outside, but it's still a little clouds, maybe a little bit of rain out there in the sky.
Definitely. A little bit of drizzle when we were coming in today, but here to tell us what the weather's going to look like for the rest of the night and tomorrow is our weather anchor, Toni Bianco.
Thanks, guys. I'm out on the SU quad, and I'm not too thrilled about it today. I honestly wish I still had my jacket on. I'm definitely not prepared for these Syracuse winters because my fingers and toes are already red. Now, it's only 51 degrees outside right now, and it's pretty cloudy, but we saw some rain earlier in the day, no more rain anymore, but it's still not exactly have a catch outside weather. And as we look ahead to tonight, temperatures are going to continue to drop. They're going to be in the mid-40s later tonight, dropping steadily once we hit 40 degrees at about 6 a.m. It'll continue to get even colder, and unfortunately, we can expect more cold weather and even some rain later in the week, and I'll tell you when to expect that later in my full weather forecast. For now, I'm going to head back into studio and get warm, so guys, back to you.
All right, Toni, thank you. Also today, police identified a central New York man who died at a boat launch in Cayuga County. The sheriff's office there says the victim is 77-year-old Thomas Jenny. The Auburn Citizen reports witnesses say seeing a man having a medical episode close to the water. The death at the Seneca Riverboat launch happened on Friday afternoon.
The Syracuse police chief is looking to diversify his department. Chief Kenton Buckner says he wants the demographics of the police department to reflect the demographics of the city of Syracuse. The SPD has recruited a new class of 33. Of that, 6 are women and only 5 are people of color. According to the report, the new recruiting class is less diverse than last year's, which welcomed 11 people of color. Buckner says less than 10% of 400 SPD class are from or live in the city of Syracuse. Buckner also says he plans to create initiatives to increase diversity among the police force and is now asking for the community in recruiting new members.
And coming up, the Turkish military continues its offensive in northern Syria. New details today on how the European Union is reacting.
And a Fort Worth police officer resigns after a shooting. What authorities are saying when we come back.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
You're watching Citrus TV News with Jack Watson, Carmella Boykin, Toni Bianco, and Oscar Offerman. Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
We're coming back with breaking news here. President Trump is announcing new sanctions on Turkey.
Those sanctions are partially coming in the form of a steel tariff hike. The president is also keeping about 1,000 troops in the Middle East to contain a potential ISIS resurgence.
The sanctions come days after the president announced a removal of troops from northern Syria and a Turkish invasion of that region.
Tensions continue to rise in Syria as government troops have moved in to battle Turkish-led forces. Following the pullout of American soldiers last week, Turkey launched multiple attacks on Syrian Kurdish forces.
Government support could bring an end to the conflict between the Kurds and the rest of the country. Meanwhile, after growing frustration from many European nations, the EU has decided to ban arms exports to Turkey.
The White House says President Trump strongly condemns a parody video of the president shooting and stabbing members of the media and political opponents. That's according to the Associated Press today.
The video was shown to supporters at the president's Doral Resort in Miami. It shows Trump's face shopped on a movie character's body as they violently assault Trump's opponents. Now, Citrus TV has decided the video is too graphic to show on the air. And we're going to Lancaster Avenue now as local experts host a teach-in so the community can learn more about the impeachment process. Citrus TV reporter Ricky Sayer joins us now live from outside the event venue right now. Ricky?
Thanks, guys. We're a little less than an hour from the start of this event here at the Bishop Harrison Center in Syracuse. We're expecting to hear from legal experts as well as local politicians. They're going to be discussing their own thoughts on the impeachment hearings with the idea that people can leave this meeting with their own forms viewed on the impeachment probe. And you know, this is all coming on a day where we are learning more information about some local connections to the impeachment probe. Congressman John Katko and Claudia Tenney both received thousands of dollars from one of Rudy Giuliani's associates. Igor Fruman donated nearly $2,500 to both Republican politicians. Fruman was arrested last week on 4 counts, including conspiracy and making false statements. Prosecutors say he helped to funnel Russian money into U.S. elections. Katko and Tenney say they didn't request the funds. Katko saying he donated the money to the McMahon-Ryan Child Advocacy Center. Coming back out here live, Katko was extended an invitation to attend this event. He declined before we learned this more information. You can still come down here. This event starts at 7 o'clock. We're not far from South Campus, so it's really just a short drive away here on Lancaster Avenue. But for now, I'll have more on talking points. For now, reporting live in Syracuse, Ricky Sayer, Citrus TV News.
All right, Ricky, thank you. The Fort Worth police officer accused of fatally shooting a woman in her home is resigning and could face criminal charges.
Early Saturday morning, 28-year-old Atiana Jefferson was killed in her bedroom after police responded to a call from a concerned neighbor. The neighbor called a non-emergency number for a safety check when he noticed her doors were opened in the middle of the night.
But police say Jefferson was playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew when she was killed. The shooting happened only 30 miles west of Dallas, where another officer shot and killed an African-American man in his home last year.
New Orleans police are still searching for a missing man after the New Orleans Hard Rock Hotel construction site collapsed.
The hotel collapsed Saturday afternoon. Authorities identified another man removed from the rubble as 49-year-old Anthony Moretta.
Officials say the building is still unstable and are warning people to stay away from the area.
And the latest from the UK on Brexit. Parliament began its new session today, reopening the window for a negotiation, but other EU countries have grown impatient with the recess.
Spanish Foreign Minister Josep Borrell says he has been disappointed with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's attitude thus far.
The EU has also been agitated with Johnson's staunch pro-Brexit stance and his perceived unwillingness to compromise. Britain has until October 31st to get a deal done with the EU. However, Johnson is expected to request another extension by the end of the week.
The 2019 Nobel Prize in Economics has been announced. 3 researchers have won for their experiment-based approach into reducing global poverty.
That's right. Esther Dulfo is the youngest person ever and the second woman to win the award. Chairman of the Economic Sciences Prize Committee, Peter Fredrickson, says their research has had a, quote, clear impact on policy and improved our ability to fight global poverty. And coming up on Citrus TV News Live at 6 now, weather anchor Toni Bianco is in studio to tell us what to expect for the rest of the week. Stay with us.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader. From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Well, I'm back in studio, finally warmed up. Now, taking a look at tomorrow's temperatures, when you wake up, it's going to be really cold, around 40 degrees when you're walking to class, and the temperatures are going to continuously increase throughout the day, not getting too high, about 54 around noon, and then up to almost 60 by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we should be seeing some pretty good temperatures, lots of sun, no chance of rain tomorrow. So tomorrow's outdoor activity outlook is going to be pretty high. I mean, I know it's going to be cold in the morning, but it is going to be nice out in the afternoon, lots of sun, no potential rain. So the key for tomorrow is maybe some layers, a light sweater, definitely a jacket for when you're walking to and from class. Now, there is going to be rain later this week. If you take a look here, you can see that the chance of rain is going to increase as we get into Wednesday morning, an 80% chance of rain, and then a slight decline by Thursday night. So we should be seeing rain all day on Wednesday and into Thursday. Now it's going to even get not just rain, but it's also going to get cold this week. You can see that there is a cold front heading towards New York, so it's coming from that Great Lakes area, and it's going to hit Syracuse around Wednesday evening. So on top of the rain, we are going to be seeing lots of cold temperatures throughout the week. So on Wednesday, it's going to be the worst day of the week. Lots of rain, lots of wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And you can see that the lows this week are also going to get significantly low. We could be seeing snow as early as next week, so I want to give you a little hint about what to wear. I've got this nice rain jacket, but it's also a windbreaker and it's lined on the inside. So if you have something along those lines, that's definitely going to be good for this week. Now, Thursday is National Pasta Day. And it's going to be so cold that you might just want to curl up on the couch and eat some soup, but I recommend you channel that inner Italian and just cook all the spaghetti that you can buy. Now, Nicole, I want to know what's going on in sports.
Well, Toni, coming up in sports, Tyus Battle is officially on an NBA roster. Find out what lucky team signed the former Syracuse point guard when Citrus TV News Live at 6 returns.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Tyus Battle is officially a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Good evening. I'm Nicole Weaving with sports. The Timberwolves announced the transaction this afternoon, signing Battle and Barry Brown Jr. while waiving Jordan Murphy and Lindell Wigginton. Battle played for the Timberwolves during the NBA Summer League, averaging about 3 points and 2 rebounds through 6 games. But back on the hill, Syracuse football is back sitting at 500. The Orange lost to NC State 16-10 Thursday after failing to finish a miracle comeback. Now all eyes are set on Pittsburgh. The Panthers visit the Salt City for a Friday night showdown in the Dome. Head coach Dino Babers is hoping his team can use this rivalry game to redefine their identity for the second half of the season.
You know, we're 3-3. We're not where we want to be. We're not happy where we're at. Now what? And again, that's what's going to define this season. It's going to define this team. It's going to define this bunch of seniors. And I'm excited about that.
Pitt's volleyball team had already paid a visit to the Hill when they swept Syracuse 3-0 on Friday. The Orange held their own against the third-ranked Panthers in the first set, despite losing just 26-24. Leonard Yellen's girls then channeled that same aggressiveness and high energy against Virginia on Sunday. Syracuse was still searching for its first home win, and this would be their last chance before 4 straight road matches. So inside the women's building, Syracuse came out not only high energy, but dominant from the start. And it was star player Polina Shimanova who shined bright yet again. Elena Karkazi sets up her outside hitter who slams it into the ground as Syracuse takes the first set 25-16. Into the second set, the domination continues. A good block from Marina Markova. And on the very next point, Ella Sada with the good save there. That sets up Shimanova yet again, who gets another kill. She would have 19 in the match. And Syracuse takes the second set 25-15. The Orange finish off a job well done with Yulia Yastrub. She gets the kill, and Syracuse sweeps Virginia 3-0 for their first home win of the season. And over at the Syracuse Soccer Stadium, the Syracuse women's soccer team looking for their first back-to-back ACC wins of the season, but they wouldn't get started first. Miami gets on the board. Tia Dupoint sneaks one into the back right corner, and the Hurricanes go up 1-0. But then Syracuse a minute later with the ball. Shannon Aviza finds Megan Root. She had 2 against Wake Forest and adds another against the Hurricanes. And this game is tied 1-1. We'd sit scoreless until the 83rd minute when the Orange sees their chances at another win slip away. The first header off the crossbar, but the second header is good. And Miami claims this win 2-1. And finally, the men's and women's rowing teams kicked off their fall season to round out what's been a busy weekend. The Orange were up in Connecticut for the head of the Housatonic Regatta. Both squads had their top varsity 8 placed 3rd in their respective divisions. The B boat for the men's team also placed 7th, while the C boat placed 14th. And on the women's side, the Orange saw its other varsity 8s cross in 8th, 11th, and 22nd.
So Nicole, Tyus Battle now officially an NBA NBA player. What kind of chances does he have to see some real NBA minutes?
We only saw him play around an average of 10 minutes in a lot of the NBA Summer League games he played for the Timberwolves, so Orange fans wouldn't get your hopes up too soon about seeing him out on the court, but certainly should be a great addition at the point guard position after they cut Jordan Murphy.
And in football, what does Syracuse need to do on Friday to come out against Pitt?
We need to see Syracuse turn something around offensively. They're doing a great job defensively of stepping up against teams and getting some good turnovers, but the offense, they just can't get the job done.
They got to get that passing game going. Run game, too. I mean, really, they need to see an offensive overhaul, I would say. Thank you very much, Nicole, our sports reporter.
And coming up on News Live at 6, one last look at your forecast.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. We bring back in our weather anchor, Toni Bianco. Now, Toni, tomorrow morning, would you say more of the same as today, a typical fall day?
Yeah, pretty typical for Syracuse. 40 degrees, it's going to be pretty cold. I would definitely, Carmella, the winter jacket.
That's what I was just going to ask you. You showed us a windbreaker with a little bit of warm on the inside. Is it too extreme for a winter jacket, say for the whole week?
Not for you, because I know that you definitely get cold easily, but for those of us who don't get that cold that easily and want to resist pulling out the winter jacket, something like the one that I showed you would be a really great option.
Sounds good. And what about tomorrow morning? What can we expect?
Right, so it's going to be pretty cold tomorrow. I would definitely layer up.
Fantastic. And it's the Great Pumpkin. A man in Connecticut has set a new record for the heaviest pumpkin at Topsfield Fair. Pumpkin grower Alex Noel's crop weighs just over 1 ton.
Oh man, how about this? Noel won $8,000 for the feat and says he'll sleep better tonight than he has in 18 years. The current world record for heaviest pumpkin is 330 pounds heavier than Noel's pumpkin. But oh man, what a payday for a big pumpkin. I mean, could you imagine $8,000?
Yeah, and growing that pumpkin is no small feat. Some of the veteran growers said to do it, you have to tend to the pumpkin every single day.
That's a high maintenance pumpkin, man. And now we're in the fall season. I mean, a lot of pumpkins grown all across the country. Really miraculous to see a pumpkin that big.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the rain, they have to put it up on like a little crate so it doesn't get all mushy. To be able to grow to that size, it's pretty impressive.
It's a fine art, truly. That's all the time we have for Citrus TV News Live at 6 this evening. For more information on our stories, visit citrustv.com or follow us on social media. I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Carmella Boykin. Have a great evening, Syracuse.